Hello Dub Nation, it's always a thrill to connect with you, especially as we're about to reveal the latest news that could shape the fate of our beloved Golden State Warriors. But before we dive into this whirlwind of information, let me make a friendly request. Show us some love by clicking the like button to strengthen our bond, and hey, if you are not subscribed yet, join our channel for a thrilling and emotional journey. Don't forget to turn on notifications to stay ahead of the game.
Damian Lillard to the Warriors? Former NBA star backs the idea after reports of contact. Could Damian Lillard be heading back to the West Coast? Rumors are heating up after the Milwaukee Bucks unexpectedly waived the All-Star guard following his devastating Achilles injury during the first round of the 2025 NBA playoffs. While Dame focuses on his recovery, the Bucks made a bold move, releasing him to clear cap space for a $107 million deal with big man Miles Turner. Now, with Lillard hitting unrestricted free agency, the NBA world is buzzing about where he might land next, and the Golden State Warriors have emerged as a very real possibility. One vocal supporter of the idea is veteran guard Patrick Beverley, who weighed in on the situation during a recent episode of his podcast. "I'm pretty sure Dame wants to stay on the West Coast," Beverley said. "He's hurt, so I don't even know how this all works. I've never seen anything like this. But technically, he can go wherever he wants." Beverley's co-host, Adam Farone, better known as Roan, took the speculation a step further, suggesting a true homecoming for the Oakland native. "I can see him going back home. Defensively, it might bring some challenges, but him and Steph Curry together? That's a scary lineup," Roan said. He added, "When Dame was dropping 23s a night against the Blazers, he was modeling his game after guys like Steph. It'd be fun. It'd be exciting. It'd be must-watch basketball." The potential pairing of Lillard with Stephen Curry, and perhaps even Jimmy Butler, should the Warriors pursue him, could create one of the most dynamic backcourts in NBA history. Beverley summed it up simply: that wouldn't be a bad place to end up. Dame, get well soon, brother. And there may already be movement behind the scenes. According to ESPN's Om Youngmisuk, veteran NBA insider Mark Spears has reported that the Warriors have indeed reached out to Lillard. Spears said Golden State has made contact, Youngmisuk shared. And while Dame's going to take his time, the idea of playing close to home in the Bay Area could be a major draw. Of course, Lillard is expected to miss most, if not all, of the upcoming season as he rehabs his Achilles. But once he's healthy, joining a championship-caliber roster like the Warriors could finally give the 9-time All-Star a real shot at the one thing that's eluded him, an NBA title. And for a player like Dame, loyal, fierce, and hungry, the chance to go home and chase a ring alongside a legend like Steph Curry might be too good to pass up. The potential fallout: what Dame to the Warriors would mean for the league. If Damian Lillard ends up in Golden State, it wouldn't just be a feel-good homecoming story, it could shift the balance of power in the Western Conference. Even with his injury sidelining him for much of the upcoming season, the long-term impact of adding Lillard to the Warriors roster could be huge. At 34, Dame remains one of the most electric offensive players in the league. His deep shooting range, clutch performances, and veteran leadership could complement Steph Curry in ways that few players can. But this potential move isn't just turning heads among fans. Executives around the league are paying close attention. Some insiders believe this could signal a major reshaping of the Warriors' core, particularly with questions looming about the futures of Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. Bringing in Lillard would force Golden State to re-evaluate the roster. "You're not just adding another shooter, you're adding a franchise-caliber player," said one anonymous Western Conference executive. And if the Warriors can make the finances work, it shows they're still fully committed to chasing titles, not just riding out the end of Steph's career. The financial implications are significant. Despite being waived, Lillard is still owed $113 million by the Bucks over the next 5 years. Any team signing him would likely offer a short-term incentive-heavy deal while he recovers. For Golden State, already deep into luxury tax territory, this would require creative cap management, possibly involving trades or restructuring existing contracts. Fans react to the possibility of Dame in the Bay. The online reaction has been swift and passionate. Within hours of the report by Mark Spears, #DameToTheBay was trending on social media. Warriors fans are imagining the offensive firepower of a Curry-Lillard backcourt, while others are raising valid concerns about defense, spacing, and ball dominance. Still, the idea of Lillard returning to where it all began, just miles from where he honed his skills as a teenager in Oakland, strikes a powerful emotional chord. This would be full circle, one fan tweeted. Dame grew up watching the Warriors. Imagine him finishing his career chasing a ring alongside Steph. It's poetic. Meanwhile, the Bucks face backlash. Milwaukee's decision to cut ties with Lillard has sparked controversy. While it opened the door to sign Miles Turner and reshape their roster, many believe the organization gave up on Lillard too soon. He played through injuries, sacrificed, and gave them a shot at a title, one NBA analyst said. Then he tears his Achilles and gets waived? That's a cold move, and players around the league notice stuff like that. Former players and league figures have also chimed in. Gilbert Arenas, on his podcast, criticized the Bucks' handling of the situation. That's not how you treat a future Hall of Famer. I get it's a business, but come on, you owe Dame more than that. What comes next? Lillard hasn't spoken publicly about his next move, a silence that only adds to the suspense. Known for his loyalty and calculated decisions, Dame is expected to weigh his options carefully. Recovery from a torn Achilles is a long road, but if anyone has the discipline and drive to come back strong, it's him. For now, the basketball world waits. Whether it's the Warriors, another West Coast team like the Lakers or Clippers, or a surprising dark horse, Damian Lillard's next chapter is already one of the most compelling storylines of the offseason. And if he does return home to the Bay Area, get ready, the splash zone might be expanding. Warriors eye potential reunion with explosive guard from 2024 to 25 roster, a smart, quiet move in the making. The Golden State Warriors are quietly considering bringing back a familiar face, one who gave them an electric spark before injury struck and everything changed. Early in the 2024-25 season, the Warriors looked like a team reborn. They came out of the gates blazing with a 9-2 record, reminding fans of their championship pedigree. Much of that early momentum was powered by the impressive play of guard D'Anthony Melton, who was thriving on both ends of the court. But that hot start came to a screeching halt when Melton suffered a torn ACL. Without his perimeter defense, ball handling and intensity, Golden State began to stumble. In an attempt to stop the skid, the front office made a series of roster moves, first acquiring Dennis Schroeder from the Brooklyn Nets. When that didn't work out, Schroeder was flipped again in the deal that brought in Jimmy Butler. In the process, Melton was traded to Brooklyn, mostly as a salary move due to his injury status. Now with his contract off the books and free agency in full swing, Melton is a free agent, and the Warriors are seriously weighing the idea of bringing him back. Melton reunion on the table amid quiet free agency. So far, Golden State has taken a measured approach to free agency. Acquiring Butler mid-season was the team's headline move, but with veteran center Kevin Looney heading to the New Orleans Pelicans, there's still work to be done, especially to reinforce the rotation and depth. According to NBA insider Brett Siegel, the Warriors are still showing strong interest in both Gary Payton II and D'Anthony Melton, two players who already understand Steve Kerr's system and bring proven defensive value. Melton, who is aiming for a full recovery in time for the 2025-26 season, would be a smart bet for the Warriors. They know his game, they've seen his impact firsthand, and if he can return to pre-injury form, he could be a valuable piece, especially come playoff time. Lakers enter the picture as potential competition. The Warriors aren't alone in monitoring Melton. The Los Angeles Lakers have reportedly shown interest as well, initially viewing him as a backup option after missing out on Dorian Finney-Smith, who signed with the Houston Rockets. The Lakers have since added Jake LaRavia from the Sacramento Kings and are currently focused on finding a big man, but Melton is still on their radar. Given his ACL injury, he's not expected to command big offers early in free agency, but that could work in favor of a team like Golden State, which values high IQ role players and has a long-term vision. A low-risk, high-upside move that just makes sense. Melton may not be the headline splash fans are waiting for, but make no mistake, if the Warriors bring him back, it could prove to be a smart and strategic decision. He's a strong on-ball defender, a capable shooter, and a perfect fit in Kerr's switch-heavy defensive schemes. He won't be the centerpiece, not with stars like Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and potentially Damian Lillard in the mix, but every championship team needs players like Melton, tough, selfless, and unafraid of the big moments. If he returns healthy, this reunion could give the Warriors exactly the kind of backcourt depth they'll need for another deep postseason run. A calculated gamble, but one the Warriors might win. What makes the idea of bringing D'Anthony Melton back even more compelling is how seamlessly he fits into the Warriors' long-term vision. With Golden State transitioning into what many see as the final championship window of the Steph Curry era, Every move matters, especially the ones that don't make front-page headlines. Melton is not a flashy signing. He's not going to generate viral highlights or dominate the box score. But his impact is felt in the margins, in deflections, on-ball pressure, off-ball rotations, and gritty possessions that swing playoff games. For a team that's already star-heavy, a healthy Melton could be the kind of role player that makes all the difference. Reactions around the league, mixed signals, strategic positioning. The buzz surrounding Melton's potential return hasn't gone unnoticed. Within NBA circles, executives are acknowledging Golden State's interest, but there's caution due to the severity of his injury. A torn ACL typically requires 9 to 12 months of recovery, and even then, there's no guarantee of full explosiveness right away. Still, some league scouts believe Melton's style of play, grounded in anticipation, positioning, and basketball IQ, will translate well post-recovery. He's not a player who relies solely on athleticism, one scout told The Athletic. He's cerebral, tough, and already understands how to contribute in a system like Golden State's. If his rehab stays on track, someone's getting a bargain. Meanwhile, fans are starting to warm up to the idea too. While social media initially focused on bigger names like Damian Lillard and potential blockbuster trades, Warriors Twitter has started to rally behind a possible Melton reunion. Comments like "Melton was a dog before the injury," "Bring him back," and "We need defenders. He fits the DNA" have been circulating across fan forums. Timing is everything, and the market might work in Golden State's favor. Because of his injury, Melton isn't expected to receive a large or long-term contract this summer. That gives Golden State a chance to offer a short-term, team-friendly deal, potentially even a prove-it contract, while keeping flexibility to pursue other targets. And with the Lakers shifting their focus toward finding a center and managing their own cap constraints, the Warriors may have an inside track. Of course, much depends on Melton himself, how far along he is in his rehab, what kind of role he's looking for, and how much he values a familiar system versus a fresh start elsewhere. A roster taking shape, and the bigger picture emerging. With Kevin Looney gone, Chris Paul no longer in the picture, and the possibility of Damian Lillard landing in the Bay Area growing louder by the day, this Warriors team is evolving quickly. The front office knows it can't afford to waste time or make sentimental choices. Every move must serve the goal of contending now while maintaining flexibility for what comes next. If the Warriors re-sign Melton, it won't just be a nice story. It'll be a tactical move that adds depth, chemistry, and defensive firepower at a low cost. In a free agency period dominated by stars and max contracts, sometimes the smartest moves are the quietest ones. And for Golden State, Melton just might be one of those. Draymond Green shares free agency vision for Warriors' future with Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green believes the Golden State Warriors already have the core ingredients for a championship run, and now it's all about building around them the right way. Last season was a roller coaster for the Warriors. The first half? Disappointing. The team looked lost and out of sync, with their playoff hopes slipping away. But just before the trade deadline, everything changed. Golden State made a bold move, acquiring Jimmy Butler. That trade turned out to be the spark the team desperately needed. With Butler on board, the Warriors found new life, pushing into the playoffs via the play-in tournament, and even knocking out the second-seeded Houston Rockets. Although they were eventually eliminated by the Minnesota Timberwolves in 5 games, the turnaround was impressive, especially for a roster that many felt wasn't ready to compete. Now, with the offseason in full swing, the focus shifts to building a team around 2 elite competitors, Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler. And Draymond Green is confident that's a foundation any contender would envy. "We've got a championship core," Draymond Green on the Warriors' off-season strategy. Speaking on his podcast, Green laid out what he sees as the Warriors' blueprint this summer. He emphasized that the hardest part is already done. They brought in Jimmy Butler, a proven leader and fierce competitor who complements Curry perfectly. "We've already made the big move. We got Jimmy, and that was the most important piece," Green said. "Now it's about building around that. We know how Jimmy fits. We know what he brings. That gives us a real chance." Green stressed the importance of understanding how Butler plays and adjusting the team style accordingly. It's about being intentional, evaluating what's working, identifying where they can improve, and taking smart steps forward. Free agency isn't easy. You're trying to pitch your vision, make the right offers. But you don't always know what will resonate. For some guys, it's about money. For others, it's about fit, role, or culture. But I think we're in a great place right now to build something real. Kevin Looney out, eyes on Al Horford as possible upgrade. On the first day of free agency, the Warriors said goodbye to longtime big man Kevin Looney, who signed with the New Orleans Pelicans. While his departure leaves a gap, the front office doesn't seem rattled. Reports suggest Golden State is now targeting veteran big man Al Horford, a potential upgrade, especially given the team's need for rim protection and floor spacing. At 39, Horford may be in the twilight of his career, but he's proven he can still make a meaningful impact, particularly off the bench. For a team light on defensive anchors in the paint, Horford could be exactly the kind of savvy, reliable presence they need to balance out their high-powered perimeter play. Warriors' off-season moves signal a new direction and heightened expectations. The decision to pursue Al Horford reflects a clear shift in Golden State's strategy. Rather than chasing flashier names or overhauling the roster, the front office appears focused on experience, leadership, and complementary skill sets, pieces that enhance the Curry-Butler-Green trio without disrupting team chemistry. Horford's ability to stretch the floor and defend at a high level, even at 39, fits perfectly with Steve Kerr's system. His playoff experience and high basketball IQ also bring much-needed stability to a locker room that's seen plenty of turnover in recent years. Insiders close to the organization have suggested that Horford is intrigued by the opportunity to play alongside two of the fiercest competitors in the league, and potentially compete for another ring before retirement. League-wide reactions. Warriors back in contender conversations. The NBA community has taken notice. Pundits and analysts who wrote off the Warriors last season are beginning to reconsider. ESPN's Brian Windhorst called the Butler acquisition a seismic shift, while The Athletic noted that pairing Butler with Curry gives Golden State, arguably the most competitive backcourt duo in the league. Draymond Green, ever the emotional barometer of the team, echoed that optimism. People forget how close we've always been to breaking through. You give Steph another guy who lives for the big moments, a dog like Jimmy, and now it's real. This isn't just about getting to the playoffs. It's about winning the whole thing. And it's not just the media buzzing. Several players around the league, including Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo, reportedly reached out to Butler to congratulate him on the move and express excitement over the Warriors' potential resurgence. Next steps: depth, development, and defining roles. With the top of the roster taking shape, the Warriors are expected to focus next on building out the bench. There are ongoing discussions with several veteran free agents, including sharpshooter Doug McDermott and defensive specialist Torrey Craig, both of whom could bring valuable depth to a rotation that was stretched thin last season. Golden State is also keeping a close eye on internal development. Young players like Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski are expected to take on larger roles, especially if the team can create a strong developmental balance alongside veterans like Curry, Butler, and potentially Horford. Sources inside the organization have emphasized that the goal is sustainability. They're not just building a team for 2025, they're laying the groundwork for a second championship window that could stretch several years, as long as Curry remains at the height of his powers. A new era, same Warriors DNA. While the faces may be changing, the Warriors' identity remains intact: smart basketball, relentless defense, and elite shot-making. But now there's an edge, a fire that comes from adding someone like Butler, who never takes a possession off and brings playoff-level intensity every night. The question no longer seems to be whether Golden State will make the playoffs. It's how far they can go once they get there. As Draymond Green put it best, "We're not rebuilding. We're reloading. And we're coming."